So here we are at the Hall of Champions, and we're going to go inside and visit with the iconic Jane Mitchell, who's huge in sports and media here in San Diego. Recently wrote a book that she actually launched the Open here in this museum. So we're going to go talk to her and learn some of her stories and all of the great athletes that have been in San Diego sports. So here we are with the Jane Mitchell, who is iconic in San Diego in media and sports, now an author, and has amazing things on the horizon. Thanks for inviting us to the Hall of Champions.
Oh, my pleasure. It's such a beautiful place. We need to show it off more.
Yeah, it's iconic to San Diego, but it's also nationally one of the biggest sports museums, and I know you've done a lot here. Tell us about it.
Well, I remember when it first opened, I shot my stand-ups for my one-on-one show with Channel 4 about Dave Winfield right there on those steps, and there was nothing in here because they had moved from one location to here. This was an old gym, and they converted it to this beautiful museum. 70,000 square feet, 3 levels. You look around, you see the Breitbart Hall of Fame. Bob Breitbart was the person behind this, and he left a legacy of honoring athletes, young, amateur professionals, and it's really a part of the community.
Yeah, so what's it mean to you? I'm sure you walk around here, you've done so much work with some of the most iconic people in professional sports that are known to San Diego. So when you walk around here, what is your favorite parts of it? What does it remind you of?
Well, I just got goosebumps thinking of when I interviewed Ted Williams. Ted Williams, was an icon. I interviewed him downstairs in this room, and he was 82, I think, at the time. And it turned out to be the last interview that he did for television. He passed away not long after. And so I get goosebumps because the bat that he used to the season that he hit 400 is here, probably up in Bob Breitbart's, the late Bob Breitbart's office. You know, seeing the Hall of Fame, Tony Gwynn, Trevor Hoffman, the baseball section of the 1998 year was so special, to all of us. And I was there. It was only our second year at Channel 4 doing the baseball games. And the Padres, it was just an incredible season. And to know that I was a little part of that, is really special.
Well, I know a lot of people in San Diego think you were a big part of it because you took these guys who are athletes and you shared their story.
Yeah, it was really a new territory. No one was doing it in San Diego, and really not a lot around the country. And our mission then was to connect the fans with the players and to show who these people are as human beings, not just athletes.
So tell us about what you have here now. So now, this is a big book called One-on-One, and tell us about the book.
Well, One-on-One, my journey with Hall of Famers, fan favorites, and rising stars, which is really what my 15 years spanned. And Dick Enberg and Tony Gwynn thankfully wrote the foreword for me, and I really appreciate that. People said, Jane, you've got such an awesome job. What's it like to interview Tony Gwynn? What was it like to interview Ken Caminiti and Ted Williams and Junior Seau? You ought to write a book. And after 5 years, I thought, well, I don't know if I have enough information yet. After 10 years, I thought, okay, I've got enough. A decade is legit. And I put my story in here, being a Navy kid, native of San Diego, born and raised in Coronado, very fortunate. Tell my story, how I got into sports, which I was not a sports fan, which is most people.
A little ironic.
Yeah, okay. Exactly. Then I put how we came to develop Channel 4 and my philosophy about approaching the game and interviewing the players, and knowing that I was going to be interviewing their wives and their children. I wanted this to be a family-oriented show. I enjoyed the new experiences. I enjoyed connecting the fans with the players. I enjoyed being around these guys who we learned are vulnerable, hard workers, trustworthy, challenged in different ways. They're real human beings, and not to candy coat it or sugar coat it, but they're just like us, except they have a phenomenal talent and stories, and some of them came from very, very humble beginnings.
Oh, they're superhumans. Not only from what they're born with, but the time and effort and energy that they have to put into it.
Yeah. And then going to the Hall of Fame 3 times, and to be there for Dave Winfield's induction, for Jerry Coleman when he was honored with the Ford C. Frick Award for the broadcasters, and then for Tony Gwynn, of course, in 2007. To go there and to follow the players, to see the fans, to tell their stories, not just of, you know, they did this, this, and this, but really go deep. It was really an honor. And those stories, I'm so grateful, even though we don't exist the way we used to,
right,
you know, after 2011 season, those shows are in the archives forever. They're here at the Hall of Champions, they're with the Padres and the Chargers. We are fortunate we get to rerun them at times. A lot of them are online now because I updated 12 shows in 2015, so those are all, you can go online and see them. So to be a part of the history, sort of the fabric of this community, it makes me proud, and what we did as a team, our Channel 4 crew and the people I worked with were just amazing, very talented, and to know that we have that piece. You'll never be able to get some of those interviews ever again.
Right.
Some have passed away. You will never be able to capture that. So to know it exists is something special.
So your book, you've mentioned the term stories. I'd love to just try and get you, this is a challenge.
Okay.
If you could just think of this thick book with all this history and these memories that you've had, what are some of the best stories? Give us one or two of your favorite ones in here.
Well, one of the favorite ones is when I interviewed Tony Gwynn the first year that we did this in 1997. And you know, I figured if I got thumbs up from him, I was going to be okay. And I didn't know. I had already aired a couple of shows on Ken Caminiti and the Moores, who were the owners at the time. And for me, when I went down on the field and I saw Tony and he had seen the show and he gave me, you know, the thumbs up, I went, phew.
Oh, that means you're in San Diego.
Yeah, I mean, that's like one of those things that you don't really tell the world about, but I could write about it in here because
Sure.
this was personal. But I always made the shows about the players. I really tried not to make it about me. So what I'm trying to do now, as much as I love television, I really believe in people should tell their own stories. You don't have to be famous to have a story. You know, we know this. I mean, storytelling goes back to the beginning of time.
Sure.
How can we preserve those stories for your own family? You know, say your parents. I did this, and I have a real belief in this. I did it for my father. In 1991-92, he was diagnosed with Lou Gehrig's disease, and he said one of the things he wanted to do before he died was to tell his life story. So I captured this on a home video camera. I have 5.5 hours of my dad. He passed away 2 years later. 2 years ago, when my mom turned 90, I finally interviewed her and put it together for a birthday party and told her life story, much like I did the television show.
Wow.
And it was that summer I thought, you know, this is something I can do. I have all these years of experience interviewing people with incredible stories, and non-sports as well with our other show, Forefront. Why not reignite that idea that we had 25 years ago and make it part of my professional services and what I can offer people. So that is one of the things that I'm working on now, to make it on my website. There's a little tab that says Your Story, Your Legacy, and it really is.
Well, we appreciate it. You have an amazing story yourself. Thank you for giving us just a little bit of it here today.
Thank you.
Coming on Lifestyles.
Yes,
Thank you,
I
Jane.
appreciate it. Love San Diego.
So that was the Jane Mitchell. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go out into the market with our co-host Jen Morris and learn about some of the cool things happening all over America's finest city.
Mount Helix Park is recognized as one of San Diego County's most magnificent landmarks. At roughly 1,300 feet above sea level, residents and tourists alike can stroll to the top of Mount Helix to enjoy the historical White Cross and 360-degree views of East County. The Mount Helix Park is also home to a large amphitheater where guests can enjoy plays, lectures, and events. Known as the crown jewel of East County, this hidden gem certainly offers something for everyone. I'm Jen Morris for Lifestyle San Diego. We're here at the top of this historic landmark in the heart of East County, Mount Helix, and we're going to be speaking with top producing agents Lyle and Grace Cadell. I'm here with top producing real estate team, Lyle and Grace Cadell, and we are on Mount Helix in East County. Thanks for being here with us.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit about this historic landmark in San Diego.
Oh my gosh, they say this is one of the most beautiful places in the world, in my opinion. Here, you're on Mount Helix here, and it's an open amphitheater that's been around since the early 1900s. It's famous. They have a lot of special events here, you know, with in the amphitheater. They have a lot of nature things that go on here. They have weddings going on here. They have a 35-foot cross on top of the mountain here, and they have amazing sunrise services here. One of the oldest sunrise services in the United States, the second to be exact.
So tell us a little bit about East County, about the area, and also what communities are within the umbrella of East County.
Wow.
A lot of communities here. We have Rancho San Diego, Jamul, El Cajon, Santee, Lakeside, Alpine, La Mesa. There's just a lot of little communities in the middle of all that. But those are the major communities.
And what is your favorite part about living in East County?
For me is proximity to everything. I'm close to the airport, I'm close to downtown, I'm close to the beaches, to the mountains. We go to Yuma, Arizona a lot, and we're just closer to the freeway, so I like proximity to everything. I feel like people think we live really deep inland, and we don't. We're just 20 minutes from downtown.
Let's talk a little bit about the social scene. I know that if people are really wanting to go out clubbing per se, they might go to downtown, but you do have a lot of restaurants to offer here, and especially so many community events happening here.
Oh my gosh, guys, some of the great events we have out here, just right here in La Mesa is our Oktoberfest. It's known for all the beer gardens, and there's all sorts of wonderful things there for people to do during Oktoberfest. We also have great car shows. If you're into cars, wow, we got a fabulous car show right down here in the village, right here in La Mesa, right near where we're at here today. It is awesome.
So what if you two are gonna go out for a date night? Are there any special restaurants that are near and dear to your heart?
Yes, we like just about everything out here. We try something new every weekend, so we usually try to go out on a Friday or Saturday. If we're not at a football game, we like to go to high school football games here in East County and support our community and a lot of the youth out here. So if we're not following them, we're at dinner either Grossmont Center. There's some great Mexican restaurants, and the Brigantine Charter House.
Charcoal House. Yeah, the food is fabulous out here. We got so many wonderful places to eat. It's just amazing. Right here in the village, right close. You can walk restaurant to restaurant. I mean, just whatever you like to eat.
You can't go wrong with the fish tacos at the Brigantine.
Oh no, you can't. The Brigantine.
Who hasn't had those?
Yeah, and it's right here, real close. It's right next to us. We're 2 minutes away from it right now. Great place to go for lunch. And a great date night, too.
There you go, there you go. Now, you two have raised 3 kids. You have 3 grown children. What is it like to raise kids in this community? And tell us a little bit about the school system and all the fantastic things that you got to do with your kids growing up.
That's a great question, because there's so much to do out here. I mean, I like to believe that out here we have everything to do. I mean, from the biking, the hiking. God, you want to go boating? We got wonderful lakes around here, from San Vicente to El Capitan. You know, fishing. I mean, there's so many things we get to do with our kids out here. All of our youth sports and things that we have for children out here, from football to soccer to tennis to golf. I mean, we have 3 amazing golf courses to go out here and enjoy with all of our kids. I mean, there's a lot to do.
If someone is looking to maybe move to East County, looking at the properties, what are the medium housing prices here in the area, and is there a luxury market here?
Oh, yes, definitely. Yeah, entry-level homes to, $1 million homes out here.
Yeah.
Beautiful views.
Yeah. We got a lot of houses, and we have some, in the up to $2 and $3 million just right here in the Mount Helix area that we have for sale, and all the way out in East County where you can get 35-acre lots with beautiful ranch homes on it if you really want that peace and tranquility.
The two of you have been practicing real estate since 1994. You've seen it all, I'm sure. Tell us what you see happening now in the market, and if it's reminiscent of any other time since you've been practicing real estate.
Well, I'll tell you, that's a great question, because out here we've just seen years ago when we started, we saw interest rates way up high up here, and people were buying homes, and now I'm sitting there looking at rates at their lowest of all time, and it's allowing people to actually get into the market. From entry level, people that couldn't afford homes before because interest rates are so high, today they're seeing that they can. And just over the many years we've been doing it, it seems like when you would think things should be going up on rates, things have actually gone down, and the housing prices have just actually soared. And in our area out here, the homes out here have really done very well. We're seeing an increase out here I would say a healthy increase, not the thing that we had years ago where things went up overnight. We're seeing more of a nice, comfortable increase where people can actually afford to get into our housing market.
You two have a blog on your website, and you recently shared an article about the advantages of home ownership. Tell us a little bit about that. I think some people might come to San Diego and have sticker shock, and think, why should I buy here? Maybe I should rent.
It's funny you ask that, because a lot of people that want to leave San Diego and move to like let's say Arizona because it's affordable, I always tell them, don't sell your house in San Diego because you can't beat the weather. But owning a home in San Diego is personalization. You don't have to worry about someone kicking you out in 30 days. You can decorate it the way you want to, and the tax benefits that we have of home ownership. We move often, but I think we're finally in a home where our kids can say, hey, we grew up here, and that means a lot to the kids.
Absolutely, and you're establishing roots for your family.
Definitely.
You are a husband and wife team. I don't think every husband and wife could work together, and especially as successfully as you two do. Is it ever hard for you guys to turn it off, or do you talk real estate 24/7?
Let me answer that question.
Our son's getting married, so our house talk is wedding and real estate.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
And we really enjoy it. Working together. I couldn't imagine not working without my wife. It's just like, it's great. I mean, we were married together, and we get to stay together and enjoy the benefits and things that we've earned in this business of real estate.
And I'm sure your clients benefit from that as well.
Well, it's a demanding job. You're working every day, and the phone rings. So sometimes he can shut it off, and then I take over, or vice versa. Where if he was doing it on his own, he'd have to delegate it to someone outside. So we're more about our customers, and we really like that personal touch. So
yeah, and you're a great team, and so much of your business comes from referrals and word of mouth, and that really speaks so much about you. I know that you have a property that you can tell us about. We're going to see some footage of within the East County area. Tell us about this.
Oh yeah, we got some amazing homes right now. I'm super exciting. I mean, just listed a really cool 35-acre ranch with a log cabin on it. It's super, super cool. That's going to be hitting the market here really soon. I'll make sure everybody gets a chance to see that. Also, another wonderful listing on the Steel Canyon Golf Course over here, right on the golf course with outdoor living, 5 bedrooms, just an absolutely stunning piece of property. And that'll be at about $1.2 million. Imagine this, you can go from a $675,000 35-acre ranch out here in East County to a beautiful golf course property for $1.2 million on one of the most famous golf courses we have here in East County. And that's Steel Canyon. Yeah, we just love it.
All right, well, let's check it out. Such a spectacular video that we got to see. Thank you both so much for having us here today.
thank you, Jen, for having us.
Thank you, Jen.
You just heard from local real estate experts out of this East County marketplace, Lyle and Grace Cadell. I'm Jen Morris.
Hi, I'm Lindsay Tour, and today we're here in beautiful La Jolla at the Mount Soledad Veterans Memorial with a very special guest. Mike Tizell is a real estate expert and happens to be a former Survivor reality show cast member. Mike's going to talk about how his heart for the military has impacted his real estate career and why he truly feels that North County is the all-time best place to live in San Diego. Now, we're here at the Mount Soledad Veterans Memorial, and I know that the military plays a big part in your life. Give us a little background on that.
Well, former Marine. That's what brought me out here to Camp Pendleton. By the luck of the draw, I got stationed in San Diego, and after my service, I just could not leave. What I absolutely love about San Diego is it's Southern California, which comes with its own craziness, but because of the military aspect, it's really, really grounded in old school, hardcore American traditional values.
Now, the military, how has that impacted your real estate career?
We just love working with them. We love taking care of them. I truly believe in the value of home ownership. It is, bar none, the greatest wealth generator for Americans, and it's what creates financial freedom. So I just love doing my part to empower the military to own a little piece of real estate, even if it's not a huge plot, a little piece of real estate here in San Diego for the long haul and the long term.
Right.
And it just is a great benefit to them.
Absolutely. I mean, San Diego's a beautiful place to live, one of the best, I personally think. And with the veterans that you work with, I know you're involved in some charities with them. So tell us a little bit more about that and maybe how some other people can get involved as well.
Well, Mount Soledad is a nonprofit. So they're raising funds to create this to be an iconic destination for San Diegans to come visit and understand a little bit about the ethos and the virtues of what went into making our country great. I mean, this cross here was erected in 1952, just post-World War II. Underneath this ground here, they've got real World War II bunkers facing out over the Pacific in case there was a threat coming. So San Diego kind of started as a military town. And what's great about it is there's a large number of nonprofits. You have the Wounded Warrior Project, and then you also have the National Wounded Warrior Center, and it's about protecting the rights and freedoms and bringing our veterans that might be banged up physically and mentally and wounded and getting them reinvigorated back into society and becoming the leaders they once were when they were in the military.
Right. I can see like you have the heart to work with those people, and we're fortunate enough to have people like you that are willing to, dedicate the time to work with them as well. I know that must have been a great experience in your life, a learning experience, something that not everybody could say they can do. So thank you so much for your service.
Pleasure.
And I know that you are crushing it in real estate here in San Diego. What made you want to get into doing real estate after the military?
I threw a dart.
Yeah.
I was like, I got to stay in San Diego. What can I do? And ended up with a couple mentors in the business and just never really looked back. And it's because I can still stay connected to the people that I love and I love to work with and run my business here in North County. So I'm passionate about it. What I'm more passionate about, more than the bricks and mortar and the beautiful luxury real estate that we have lining the coastline, are the people and the stories of the people and the lives of the people that are affected through real estate. So behind every person is a phenomenal story. In real estate, we get to know their story. We get to know them deeply on a personal level. And so it's just really, really exciting when we can kind of enhance their lives and do our small little bit to help them out with their real estate.
Absolutely. Speaking of stories, are there any success stories that come to mind where you've gotten to help out a family in particular?
One of the best is a story about a young man named Jason Ross. And Jason Ross used to be about 6'3". Unfortunately, ended up stepping on an IED in Iraq, and he jokes about his height now compared to what he used to be.
Yeah.
And the Rosses, through a couple of our nonprofits, the Carrington Foundation and the Gary Sinise Foundation, we got to help in finding and procuring land to build a house up in North County, up in Fallbrook, for the Rosses to live in for the duration of their lives. So from a real estate standpoint, we got to do our little piece at really taking care of them and making sure that that they're set. And even if we can do one little small thing for our guys, to pick up the pieces back here when they're, defending our freedom overseas, it's a big, big deal.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Now, speaking of San Diego, I mean, you can't go wrong here. And I know North County, you think, is the all-time best place to live. Why is that?
So aside from the physical beauty, I mean, if you just look out behind us here, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous place. Miles and miles of beaches. You have this downtown Encinitas, Del Mar, Carlsbad, Oceanside. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Aside from that, North County San Diego has this robust community leaders, amazing schools. So there's just a lot of really high caliber people that might be okay with the sunshine tax that we pay here in Southern California, but are really community centric and community oriented and have big hearts. So you don't get that a lot in Southern California. I'm very familiar with other population centers, and you don't get the Midwest heart and the Midwest attitude here in Southern California much, but North County San Diego has certainly got it.
How is the market in general? Are you noticing any trends right now? Is the inventory doing well? What's your take on that?
Inventory is low.
Okay.
I get a lot of people coming to me saying, we're back to 2006, 2007 prices. The market's gonna tank again. Leading San Diego real estate economists don't believe so. We have a housing shortage here in Southern California. Ever since the downturn in the market in 2007, we've still had another 30,000 people come to live here, and quite frankly, the builders just aren't keeping up with that pace.
There's low inventory, so that, there's a lot of people that want to live here because of the hot spots. And I want to know some of your favorite hot spots in North County.
Okay.
What are those?
Okay, so I love Del Mar.
Yep.
The races at Del Mar, it's kind of an iconic venue. If you've never been to opening day, strongly recommend you go. It's a show. Go with your hat or your fedora.
Or that.
and go do it. Afterwards, I would recommend a dinner at Jeff Strauss's Pamplemousse. Lovely guy, amazing chef, and the cuisine there is fantastic. Other than that, I love downtown Encinitas. There's a lot of craft breweries popping up. Downtown Cardiff is quiet and sleepy, but there's some really nice venues to kind of hang out and have a glass of wine and enjoy the view.
You are on Survivor. I need to know all the juice about that show.
Well, I survived.
You did. You made it back in one piece.
I did not win. I finished 6th. Mark Burnett is a visionary when it comes to TV, and the interesting thing about Survivor is it's a game where you lie, cheat, and steal your way to $1 million. For me, it was a different experience.
Yeah.
I got voted off on a castaway island and spent 2 weeks there with nothing but a buddy and a bowl of rice and a Bible, and I just got to dig into the Word and got to know God better. So it was kind of totally opposite from what I expected it to be. But it was a heck of a lot of fun, and what I've realized is that we are super, super, super blessed to live in a place like this.
Absolutely, I love that. Well, thank you so much for being on our show. You are incredible, and I just want to say congratulations on all your success.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
You just heard from former Survivor contestant and real estate expert Mike Chazelle. He was able to share with you his heart for the military and how it's made an impact on his real estate career. And he got to tell you why he truly thinks North County is the ultimate place to live in San Diego. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show.